Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. Getting a moving violation. Shaking that ass. This is Trevin.
I had another delayed reaction just then, but that was cute. And I'm Amanda. Hey, Trevin.
Hey there.
You've been on vacation. I'm about to go on one. We're kind of catching up here in the middle to do this episode, but what is your dreadful dilemma? Does it have anything to do with that?
With shaking my ass?
Yeah, shaking that ass and...
I guess in a way my ass is involved.
Oh, wow.
You got that ass radar. I brought up the idea to you that I think we are going to probably do a special where we have summer dilemmas. You're about to take a second vacation. Mine was a pretty big one. So I will probably expand on this more. But we took a beach vacation to Folly Beach in South Carolina. I love beach towns. I love any vacation where I can pretty much just leisure by the beach and then walk to food.
That's the dream.
Oh, it's my favorite. Anytime I don't have to drive. Our house was about 1.7 miles from the main pier, which also had all the restaurants and the groceries and all that. That's a little further than what we've done in the past, but we had a private beach. Like, our house was on the beach.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, we went all out this year. But by going all out, Emily thought, why don't we go a little bit bigger than what we normally do? And instead of just walking all the time, let's ride bikes.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if this subject of bikes has ever come up in this show, but I have an issue with bikes.
Oh, actually, I feel like I know this. I don't know if it was talked about on the show, though.
Yeah, it might have been at a party we talked about. I feel like I have told this.
Yes.
Growing up in the country, I didn't really have a lot of streets to ride a bike on, and I wasn't going to go pedal on gravel or try that hard, really, because I didn't like doing it that much.
Yeah.
My mom would kind of take me up to, there was a blacktop road that touched our gravel road, and my mom would park on the corner and be like, oh, go back and forth on just like a stretch of this little highway here. And I didn't really like that because anytime a car came up, I just felt so uneasy because I was like, I'm in your way. I don't want to get hurt by you and I don't want to be in your way.
Yeah.
So I never really rode a bike that much. I don't want to say that I don't know how, but I would say that I'm probably a tiny bit more than somebody who doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Oh, damn.
When I was a kid, I was put on one and pushed down a hill at my grandparents' house who lived by an old folks' home. And all I knew were bicycles where you pedal backwards to brake.
Oh, yeah, you told me this.
And I ran straight into a parked car. I've just had really weird issues with them. So I rode a bike for the first time. And let me tell you that I was going to have a panic attack instantly.
Oh, no.
My like ADHD brain, I lose focus of my body so easily that I'm like, my life depends on being in my body and balanced. And so I'm trying to bike and trying to look ahead, but anytime something catches my eye and I'm like, oh, that's a cute little something, or look at that piece of art, I'm just like, oh no, I'm about to die. And so I have to look back because my body would just go doing its own thing if I wasn't completely focused on riding a bike. There was no bike lane or anything, so there were cars behind me, which the whole place is covered in signs that says, relax, it's Folly Beach, don't speed. Like, the whole place is chill.
Yeah.
But it don't matter to me because I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you're in a car and you're an asshole on the road, people look at you as like, oh, I hate you, you Volkswagen. Like, they think of you as a car. Mm-hmm. I'm not in a car, though. I'm on a bike. So, like, they can actually hate me directly.
Oh, they hate you, for sure.
I hate that guy specifically on that bike. So I could just feel everybody hating me for being slow on the road. And I was afraid I was going to wreck. We were getting to our first bar, and we were 2 blocks away from it. And I decided to walk and push the bike because I mentally was like, if my brain gets distracted by one thing, I'm just going to turn it to the side and wreck.
Oh my God.
And Emily's like, I think you can do it. I said, if you want me to hurt myself, I'll ride the bike. It was a bit of a rough first time, but then I got better as it went along.
Okay. And no crashes, no injuries?
No crashes. Oh, my ass.
Oh, yeah. Where does your ass come into all this?
We got to bring that puppy back in. The bike seat just hurt my ass a lot.
Yeah.
So Emily's getting a bike from her sister, and they had another bike that they were like, do you want one for Trevin? And I said, no. I will never ride a bike leisurely. That was fun because it was like using it as transportation. But there's no leisure riding a bike. That was absolutely awful. And yeah.
Damn, I am so sorry you have had such bad experiences on bikes. I grew up in a town. It wasn't gravel roads like you grew up on, though. It was like halfway paved, halfway gravelly. You know what I mean? But I used to ride bikes all the time as a kid, and I haven't rode one in a very long time. I might be scared now if I did, but I used to love it. I used to love doing it leisurely. I don't know about now. Maybe we're too old.
It's frightening.
Well, Trevin, I also have a dreadful dilemma, and it also happened on a trip of mine, and it also has to do with transportation, so that's really funny. Mine wasn't as big of a trip as the one I'm about to go on, but my family and I, we went to Beaver Lake in Arkansas. It's our second summer doing it. We went last year, fell in love with the lake, and we just wanted to go back. So I went with Jordan, my kids, my mom, my dad. We stayed in an Airbnb. It wasn't as cool of a spot because the year before we had like a private cove almost where it was really gradual pebbles and like the girls could ease into the water. This was more of like a drop-off situation, wasn't good. They kind of skewed the images so you couldn't really tell if it was a good swimming spot. But anyway, it's okay because Jordan's uncle and aunt, they live pretty close by and they have a boat. So they were going to bring it. We were going to explore all over the place, right? So we're really excited. It's our first day there, about to get on the boat. Jordan was like, okay, I'm going to drive my truck down to Pebble Beach, which is this little swimming area. And he's like, and then maybe we can get on their boat there. I'm going to go like fill it out, whatever. And so I didn't hear back from Jordan for quite a while. And I was like, what is going on? And he calls me and he's like, I'm fucking stuck. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, my truck is stuck on this beach in front of all these people. There's just no way. And I'm like, what the hell? So while that is going on, Jordan's uncle, who lives about an hour and so away, they are there at Beaver Lake, but they forgot their boat keys at home.
Oh
so
my God.
They had to go and get new keys. He was stuck in the beach, and I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Why was he on the beach if the boat wasn't there yet?
Don't ask me.
Okay.
So eventually we went down there and Jordan was all, pissy and embarrassed and all the anger feelings that you can feel when you do something dumb. And his truck is literally a couple feet from the water. It like slid into the pebbles and I was just like, what the hell? Long story short, we made the most of it. We ended up going swimming. We ended up going on the boat still. We ended up doing all this cool shit. But it took a tow person 4 hours to get out there.
It was really stuck, huh?
It was really stuck. And it was kind of embarrassing because after that, we saw other trucks drive it and not get stuck. So that just put salt on the wound a bit.
Oh, no. He's got the wimpy truck.
Wah, wah. But it was rescued, all was well. It didn't get in the water, nothing like that. And I do have videos of Jordan in the truck getting towed, and I'm on the boat filming him, and I'm like, ha 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 ha, and he's like flipping me off through the window. So anyway, it's funny. I have lots of pictures and content to show you all.
Wow, you are the best support. But I can totally relate with Jordan in this situation because when you're struggling and a lot of people are around, I haven't felt that way in quite some time.
It's horrible when that happens. I agree. So, Trevin, this week, or should I say Kermit, my God, this week we are going to be doing Killer Facts.
Hello?
We've traced the facts. They're coming from inside the house.
killer fact.
So, since you are a big sound effect guy...
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to share a sound fact with you.
Oh, boy. I'm intimidated.
I hope it's easy listening. So, Trevin, in 1997, an extremely loud and low-frequency sound was recorded in the southern Pacific Ocean. So, how old would you have been?
7.
Okay, so I was born in 91, so I would have been 6. Yeah. The mysterious noise was picked up by NOAA, a program monitoring underwater sounds using hydrophones. To those that heard it, the sound was nicknamed the Bloop. Isn't that so cute and funny? The Bloop? It was detected approximately 3,000 miles away, making it one of the loudest underwater sounds ever recorded. Early theories of what caused the clamor ranged from a massive undiscovered creature, a large-scale volcanic eruption, or a secret military operation. But in 2005, NOAA deployed additional hydrophones closer to Antarctica and began to hear the bloop sound again. This led them to link the sound to ice quakes, specifically when icebergs break away from glaciers due to climate change.
Well, I know that's not true or a fact at all. That's a hoax all around.
Shut your mouth.
I feel like I've heard of this in some way, but I feel like the bloops, I've heard of like this seismic sound, but
yeah,
I don't remember ever learning that it was from ice quakes, though.
Yes, ice quakes. It took them a while. So what did I say? 1996 to 2005 is when they finally found out what the cause of the bloop was. But I mean, it sounds cute in theory, but climate change isn't so cute after all.
It's wild to think that it's underwater, but it's like super loud, you know?
Dude, yeah. I thought you would find that to be fascinating because, yeah, it has to do with sound. Have you heard of hydrophones or any of the things I was saying? Does that ring a bell? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say that maybe even at one point, because you can hear the bloop, like there is the sound, right? Okay, yeah, I think I've even heard it before, but I think when I had heard of it, I think I only knew of like people theorizing.
Yes, which, should I play it for us?
I mean, yeah, you can play it for us, and I'll just rip the real thing.
Was that it? Oh, when it went bloop.
Okay, that does sound like a bloop.
Okay, yeah, that sounded more bloopy. But the fact that it was so loud that it picked up on it that many miles away is just pretty crazy.
I mean, you can see how it got the name.
Yes, you can. The bloop.
Bloop. From far away underwater, that is an ice quake.
Yes.
Imagine a planet exploding and just all the life going away. And it's like, bleep. And this has a cute little sound. And everybody just gives it that. We're talking about an ice quake.
Yeah, there's a literal ice quake cracking glaciers into the cold waters. And all we're hearing is bloop.
Audio and going through water. That stuff is so cool.
It is.
Well, for my killer fact, I have a different kind of nature-y thing. It's a mixture of a couple of our favorite things.
Okay.
Animal facts.
Love it.
And butts.
Oh!
So whose butt are we talking about today? So I found this article recently from cbc.ca that was very entertaining. It's not just funny, but also really interesting at the same time. And the article is titled, "Chimps are sticking grass and sticks in their butts, seemingly as a fashion trend."
For real?
For real.
Whoa, tell me everything.
And I was just taken by that title.
Same.
But then when I learned more about it, I thought, no, this is actually just really cool fact too.
Yeah.
I didn't think this was something I could use, and then I was so happy to find that it's something I can.
Wow.
So here we go. Recently, researchers observed a strange new behavior among a group of chimpanzees at Chimfunshi Wildlife Orphanage in Zambia. Chimpanzees inserting grass and sticks into their ears and anuses. The behavior was documented in a study published in the journal Behavior. According to Jake Brooker, a psychologist and Great Apes researcher at Durham University, quote, "We were really shocked that this had happened again. We were even more shocked that they were doing their own spin on this by also inserting the grass and sticks in a different orifice. The individual believed to have started the anus insertion version of the trend is a male chimp named Juma. Within a week of Juma's first display of the behavior, most of the group mates were doing the same. This isn't the first time a behavior like this has spread among chimps at the orphanage. Back in 2010, a female chimp named Julie began sticking blades of grass into her ear. The trend quickly caught on with her group. 7 others adopted it. Even after Julie's death in 2013, at least 2 chimps in her group, including her son, were still doing it years later. So the researchers believe that the whole ear grass thing was just because they were watching humans. The chimpanzees, the groups never interacted with each other, but they shared the same human caretakers. The caretakers reportedly used matchsticks or grass to clean their ears while working, which I'm like, you nasty?
Say what? What?
And you're working with chimps and stuff, and you're just like, oh, I'll just take some grass out and start cleaning my ear.
Yeah. You are the one that should be locked in the cage, yo.
Yeah, nobody's coming out and saying it, but it's just like, did somebody feel a little awkward about it? Like, the chimps are telling on you, you nasty, bro. Quote, the chimps have potentially copied it from a human who was walking by the enclosure or one of the caregivers who was just going about their days. As Brooker puts it, like with all cultures, things change over time and they get refined and new quirks and new traditions popped up. As for the reason behind putting grass in the anus, researchers aren't sure, but Julie Trichrobe, a primatologist at the University of Toronto, offered a possible explanation. Quote, they spend a lot of time looking at each other's butts. So it's kind of not surprising that maybe they were innovating this way of sort of decorating their butts. Since the chimpanzees at Chimfushi are fed by humans and don't need to forage, Trichrobe suggests that they might have more leisure time to develop and engage in social or cultural behaviors that serve no direct survival purpose. Learning that animals have these same pointless little behaviors that become fads and become viral, I think it really shows how closely related we are to them, she said. For comparison, Brooker pointed out to another animal trend, orcas placing salmon on their heads like hats. That behavior was seen in the 1970s. It disappeared and then reemerged 40 years later. He compared it to flared jeans as a fad. Then he ended it with this really weird line. He said, this isn't the strangest chimp behavior he's ever seen. This is the second. The first was post-conflict fellatio between 2 male chimps. And then it also gave a link to the whole study. He wrote a whole big thesis about these angry dudes.
Wow. I think it's really cute that there is a possibility that they just have so much leisure time that they decided to come up with some fun, trendy fads for the pack. I don't know what you call a group of chimps, but anyway, I think it's cute. I think part of it is kind of weird because it's like, if they saw the caretaker cleaning their ear with grass, was he also wiping his ass with it?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, one thing I'm seeing in this whole thing is just this thing that's unspoken, that somebody's a weirdo who cleans their ears with grass and possibly their anus. They're just sitting here like, well, monkeys like looking at each other's asses, so maybe they just evolved it. And it's like, I like where you're going with it. But I'm also thinking Marty over here with the weird grass obsession at work might also need some questioning again.
For sure. But I would like to think, in my own little naive way, I would like to believe that they are doing it for looks, and maybe the grass in the ear is kind of like an earring, and maybe the grass in the
butt ring.
A butt ring.
A butt plug, I guess.
Butt plug. But cute.
Yeah, very cute.
Oh, well, Trevin, we're not going to sell anyone any butt plugs, but we do have these ads. And we're back.
Welcome.
It is my week to tell my petty crime story first.
And I'm hearing good things on the horizon from you this week.
As regular listeners know, Trevin and I usually just tell each other the criminal or victim's name beforehand, so we don't write out the same petty crime. But I had to tell him who my people's names were, and it is a very viral story. But luckily, Trevin hasn't heard too much about it.
No, I was on the road driving to South Carolina at the time that it was viral, and I was on the beach and never looking at my phone. Got back, haven't caught up on anything, so I still don't know.
So this is great. I felt very passionate about covering it, and I wanted to do it in my own creative way because I know there's been a lot of coverage, right? But nothing like we do.
Right.
And before I start to, obviously, I don't know how we got here, guys. I fluffed it up a bit like we do. Live, laugh, larceny style. So here we go. Getting caught with your pants down can be a really awkward experience. Hey, how's your dick? How you react to this vulnerable position can change the course of your entire existence. You could run away with your tail between your legs. Instead, you could face your fears head on and overcompensate.
Let me introduce you to Big Bill and the Twins.
Or you could swing your package round and round and hope to get a few lighthearted chuckles. Each of these responses lead to a different outcome and consequences. You could end up shunned from your community, charged with indecent exposure, or become the most hilarious guy in your crew. The end result is all up to how you handle the encounter. Today's story is a crime against humanity that went extremely fucking viral, causing millions of viewers to ask themselves how they'd react to being caught in a petty scandal. It was a chilly winter evening in 2024 as two colleagues entered an empty elevator inside of a luxurious New York skyscraper. The shiny elevator doors slowly shut, enclosing them both in the small lift. Yet, these two weren't ordinary coworkers that stumbled over awkward small talk. The pair found themselves in an intimate and inappropriate work relationship. I know what you're thinking. Another case of nepotism destroying the workplace. But that is where you're wrong. The couple's relationship was much less incestuous and more illicit in nature. What had started as a professional connection led to a reoccurring erection. 50-year-old Andy Byron smiled an ornery grin before turning toward his coworker/lover, asking,
Which floor, my lady?
52-year-old Kristen Cabot giggled before responding with,
69, please.
Andy pushed the provocative button, and the elevator started to ascend. It wasn't the only thing rising, as things began to heat up between the devilish duo. Passionate eye-gazing, heavy breathing, and intense kissing ensued, until at last they arrived on the 69th floor. Andy quickly adjusted his trousers, and Kristen popped her nipple back into her dress just before the elevator doors opened to their holiday work event. The room was full of employees of Astronomer, a successful company focused around analytics, AI, and absurdity. Instead of gasping at seeing the two lovers alone together in the elevator, the group didn't bat an eye at their entrance. Bottles were popping, drinks were flowing, and no one seemed to notice the coziness between them. To onlookers, they both appeared to be happily married to other people. Both owned big homes, had children with their spouses, and seemed to be living the dream. After all, Andy was the CEO of the entire company, and Kristen was hired as the head of HR.
To adultery!
No one expected such an ironic entanglement. Yet, their secret love affair went on like this for months. In public media interviews, Andy professionally praised Kristen, stating,
She has exceptional leadership, deep expertise, and passion for fostering collaborative workplaces.
But in private, he was more focused on the passion they collaborated on in the sheets.
Tell me I just got picked for a random drug test. Oh.
After a while of hiding their affection, Kristen had started to feel like a dirty little secretary instead of someone Andy truly loved. To ease her worries, she called him up one evening when they were both alone.
Oh, Andy, I just wish we could go out like normal couples do.
Kristen sighed as she looked off into the distance, longingly.
You know, I do too, Kristen. If we did go on a date, it would have to be somewhere no one would see us.
The cheating colleagues pondered for a moment, plotting out a possible outing, when suddenly, Kristen got an idea.
Ooh, what if we saw a concert? It's always dark and no one is focusing on people out in the crowd. Let's see what shows are coming soon.
The pair both Googled upcoming concerts nearby and exchanged criteria for which genres were off limits.
My wife loves K-pop, so that's out of the question.
My husband enjoys any singer who wears a cowboy hat.
We cannot see Taylor Swift. Everyone knows I'm a Swiftie.
There has to be something.
Just then, both of them scrolled down to the same inconspicuous upcoming event, one that few would expect and even fewer would attend. At the same time, Kristen and Andy both suggested,
What about Coldplay?
The night of the concert was on July 15th, 2025, at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Kristen and Andy excitedly approached the stadium, hand in hand, with no familiar faces in sight. They found their seats just as the lights dimmed and light piano began. The concert was a blend of melodic and dreamy rock pop, accompanied by the airy vocals of the band's lead singer, Chris Martin.
Oh, big shot CEO, in your midnight glow. It's Saturday night, and you're cheating on your wife.
The entire time, Andy and Kristen were wrapped up in each other's arms, swaying back and forth like a young couple at their first prom.
You blew your cover now. You cheating whore, you cheating whore. You're caught with your pants down. You cheating whore, you cheating whore.
In the middle of the show, the singer announced that the next song would be a special dedication to members in the crowd.
This goes out to you all.
Cameras would capture the audience on the Jumbotron, while Chris Martin sang an improvised line about the fans on screen. The crowd was buzzing with excitement, causing Andy to pull Kristen in a little closer. Their night out as an undercover couple had gone on without any issue. They hadn't recognized anyone else out in the crowd, and more importantly, no one else had recognized them. The set continued on, with the first fan on the big screen being a handsome young man wearing a birthday boy sash across his chest.
You're a handsome boy, and I love to see you on your birthday.
The singer sang a personalized tune for the man before the screen faded away to the next lucky fans.
Oh, look at these two.
Chris Martin said into the mic as the camera focused on a mature couple holding each other lovingly. Andy and Kristen smiled and looked up at the Jumbotron, only to be frozen in sheer horror. The loving couple, looking back at them and the entire stadium of concertgoers, was Kristen and Andy.
Give her some tongue.
The secret lovers reacted swiftly to the unwanted attention without any time to think things through. Kristen immediately threw her hands over her face, desperately trying to shield her identity, while Andy dropped his hands from Kristen's waist and lowered himself down to the floor and out of the camera's sight. The Jumbotron stayed put as Coldplay's lead singer awkwardly continued to strum on his guitar. He leaned into the microphone and very dryly commented,
Either they're having an affair or they're just really shy.
Kristen and Andy took off in different directions, getting lost in the crowd, leaving the lead singer confused.
I'm not quite sure what to do. Can we rock with you? Oh shit, I hope we didn't do something bad.
The camera eventually panned to another section of the audience and focused on two women in banana costumes,
We're bananas for Coldplay.
giving Andy and Kristen the perfect distraction to flee. The pair hoped that the awkward encounter would remain a close call and their affair would remain concealed. Little did they know that their once secret rendezvous would make worldwide news. On July 15th, 2025, during a Coldplay concert at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, a young woman named Grace Springer videoed an awkward interaction on the concert's Jumbotron. The clip showed what appeared to be a loving couple wrapped up in each other's arms and swaying to music. That is, until the couple realized that they were on the big screen. Panic ensued, causing the woman caught on camera to shield her face with her hands, while the man behind her ducked down and out of sight. The video goes on to capture the lead singer of Coldplay, Chris Martin, saying, "Either they're having an affair, or they're just very shy. Oh shit, I hope we didn't do something bad." Grace Springer was quoted about the event, stating,
"In the moment, when I filmed it, I didn't think much of it. It wasn't until after the concert where I was debriefing with my friends and I said, let's review the footage. Let's see if it really looks that bad. And it does. I had no idea who the couple was. Just thought I caught an interesting reaction to the kiss cam and decided to post it."
Within hours of the concert ending, the footage was online. Within a day, internet sleuths had identified both parties as 50-year-old Andy Byron and 52-year-old Kristen Cabot. Both of them worked at Astronomer, a company focusing on AI and analytics. Andy was the CEO of the company, while Kristen was the head of HR. By July 17th, the video had blown up on TikTok with 10.4 million likes, and just a week later, Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot resigned from their positions. Other actions prompted by the explosive scandal include Andy's wife removing his last name from her LinkedIn profile, Gwyneth Paltrow, Chris Martin's ex, acting as Astronomer's temporary spokesperson, and rumors of potential lawsuits have been swirling online. At the time of this recording, no official charges have been filed. However, that doesn't mean no one was punished. Grace Springer, who posted the viral video, gave a final quote on the matter, stating,
"A part of me feels bad for turning these people's lives upside down. But play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I hope their partners can heal from this and get a second chance at the happiness they deserve with their future still in front of them. I hope for them, my video was a blessing in disguise."
Getting caught with your pants down or cheating on a Coldplay concert's Jumbotron can be pretty awkward. Yet, I think this story proves that it's all about how you handle the scandal. What if the cheaters had played it cool and smiled at the camera instead of acting guilty and foolish? My guess is that we would have never heard of this story, not on the news or on our petty podcast. To end this story, I will leave you all with some extremely fitting Coldplay lyrics. Late night watching TV. Used to be you here beside me. Used to be your arms around me. Your body on my body. When the world means nothing to me, another's arms, another's arms. When the pain just rips right through me, another's arms, another's arms.
Damn, you really found some depth there with that Coldplay at the end.
I was like, another's arms? That is literally what just occurred.
I'm not familiar with that particular song, but...
Me neither.
There's a good find for it. So a lot of people probably won't believe that I really don't know that much about this, especially with us missing a week and everything, so this is probably going to come out even later.
Right.
I really, for the longest time, the only thing I saw was like Chris Martin exposes Astronomer CEO cheating, and I did see the video of him like, boo, and like trying to hide and them looking like fools, and her like just trying to hide behind a rando in the crowd.
Yeah, I didn't even cover the gal laughing and the side of it. I know a lot of people thought that that was another employee or coworker of theirs, but I found no proof of that. So
okay, I usually speak up or make jokes about viral things like that, but I usually like to know what I'm talking about before I do, so I never did.
Yeah.
Up until just today, I thought, because all I knew was the headlines in the video I saw, I had heard she was HR for something.
Yeah.
I thought that this was a pointed thing by Chris Martin because he knew that this dude was cheating at his concert, and I thought that she was HR for Coldplay. And that was what I was thinking this whole time. And I'm like, this is deep, but it's not that deep.
No. They just stumbled upon them in the crowd. But I'm serious. I really wanted to hit this mark home, okay? If they would have reacted normally, sure, maybe someone in the audience maybe could have recognized them. I don't know. But it never would have been posted online. It never would have gone fucking viral as fuck. It's like their reaction, their horrible, awkward, bizarre-ass reaction is what made it go viral. So I just had to put that in there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like when I first found out about this, Emily and I talked about it a little bit on our drive. And to your point, when you see those men who are like the chronic cheaters or, bad dudes like our president or something, they can lie straight to your face and tell you that's not what you saw, even though you caught them.
Right.
And I think that I don't want to say a skilled cheater because obviously he was great at cheating, but a person who like does this kind of thing a lot probably would just stand firm in it and just be like, don't react. And even if they did get caught, like the wife said, hey, it looks like you, be like, it wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have my arms around her. Okay, if it was me, who cares? We're just at a concert. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. No, they handled it so bizarrely. Obviously shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. Obviously, too, I looked it up. He lives in Massachusetts and she lives... I can't remember where she lives. It's somewhere also in a different East Coast state. But he lives in Massachusetts. They work in New York. And he took her to a concert in Massachusetts, where he lives.
Yeah, that's a weird choice.
So that was really risky already. But anyway, I had to tell it. I know this is one that I haven't done in a while, where it's a crime against humanity and no actual charges have been filed yet. But there has been damage done, and there may be criminal charges by the time this episode even airs, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. There's been a lot of fake news, like a lot of fake statements that have been created and circulating online and stuff. But there have been rumors saying that Andy Byron wants to sue Coldplay. Who knows if that's going to happen? I don't know.
And that makes the whole Gwyneth Paltrow thing feel really kind of pointless now that I know Chris Martin really had nothing to do with it besides just like, I mean, you're fair game if you're in the crowd. It's not like my original thought was he directly pointed him out. Right.
I don't know why they made Gwyneth Paltrow their temporary spokesperson, but probably because they were just getting so much, viral hits to
just keep it going.
Yeah, and they just wanted a big star. And also she is kind of connected to the story because Chris Martin's her ex, but I don't really know. I didn't look into that too deeply, to be honest, because there's just so much I had to get in there. But yeah, very weird.
When I first found out about this, it was around the time I'd finished the story about the guy who was tugging his chicken in the sauna. And I said, when doing something, you need to have a good excuse, because if you're just left up to your own devices or your own imagination in a heated moment, you're going to have a really stupid excuse or you're going to react poorly. That was kind of one thing I was thinking, like, if I'm going to do something bad, like, this dude's probably been cheating for a while and they, probably graduated to the let's be in public together level, kind of like you had said.
Yes.
But like, if I was cheating and getting to that point, it would be like, okay, I'm going into a dangerous territory of getting caught. I should have an excuse ready if I'm caught in a car. I should have an excuse ready if I'm caught. My brain, and I'm not saying I'm like a genius, I just overthink and worry about everything.
He's not overthinking this one. This guy is not.
Yeah, if I was cheating and took a girl to a concert, I would think, what if I popped up on the kiss cam? Like, I guarantee you my brain would have thought of that.
Yeah, it's just a ballsy, dumb thing to do in general. And then to react like that is just even dumber. It's just like, we have to make fun of you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess that kind of shows the lack of shame, lack of respect.
Yeah.
I would feel really guilty if I was doing something like that, so that's why I would think ahead, but maybe he just doesn't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, just acts like it when he's on camera.
Ugh, I can't relate to people like that, but a great story. Your innuendos were off the chains. What a very sexually charged story.
Oh my God, I know. This is really sexy, you guys. I'm so sorry. I talked about nipples popping out. I talked about erections.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of one of those really risque ones, but I had fun writing it. It was really fun to make fun of them and their love affair.
I think this is going to be a good one. I have a really good feeling about it. I hope that I find the time and I'm able to put a song in there because I can hear it already as you were speaking it live.
That's what like a lot of Coldplay sounds like. I mean, I like some of Coldplay, but it has that very like...
He does a lot of like long notes, yeah. We'll see what I do.
I'm excited.
This episode is brought to you by JCPenney. Yes, JCPenney. And if you've been there recently, you know it's the place to go for jaw-dropping looks at brag-worthy prices. They've got something special for every style and budget, not to mention rewards and deals that make finding those hidden gems even sweeter. If you already shop JCPenney, you're already in on the secret. But if not, it's time to ask. Wait, am I sleeping on JCPenney? Shop JCPenney.com. Yes, JCPenney.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
So although I did know what your story was going to be, I didn't plan anything to try to connect with yours or anything. I wanted to try to keep it as
authentic
as I could. I have something in common that I've noticed in our writing styles this week, but you might have to look. I mean, there's not like super straightaway connections, but I'm sure we have some.
Okay.
This is a super new one that came from the beginning-ish of July, and it spoke to me. It spoke to me in a different way than a story's spoken to me in a while. And
nice.
It gave me a really good vehicle to be dumb.
Love it.
I just want to be dumb with y'all, so here we go. Predicting other people's reactions is basically a full-time job. Just one of the many background processes always running in my brain. From a young age, I learned that other people's emotions could dictate mine. The more people I met, the more I realized how little I actually understood them. So, out of self-preservation, I took mental notes, eye contact, tone of voice, favorite words, character flaws. Behind the scenes, I was always running simulations, calculating where a conversation might go so I could brace for impact. Because when someone's mood suddenly shifts, my reaction might leave me exposed to hurt feelings, or worse, vulnerability. Now, at 35, I can admit that wasn't a healthy way to live. That was a young man's answer to a confusing world. I've tried to unlearn the instinct, but the truth remains. The unexpected is inevitable, and when it hits, not even you will make sense to yourself. Honestly, it's enough to make me never want to leave the house. Because even if my best friend randomly pissed their pants and started screaming in a restaurant,
I am the reincarnation of King Tut!
I'd be the one haunted by embarrassment just for how I handled it. Please stop? Today's story is about one of those moments where someone's unpredictable behavior meets someone else's inexplicable decision. Because the more random the event, the more explosive the response. Key West, Florida, the southernmost point of the continental U.S., home of the Overseas Highway, pastel conch-style houses, and beaches that slide softly into the sea. The second deepest thing around, right after the mind of Cynthia. Cynthia was 38, and she felt and pondered everything. From the hypothetical sound of a tree falling in an empty forest, to the looping nature of time and its endlessly repeated mistakes.
Let's try fascism.
She believed in cause and effect, in karmic ripples, and in the quiet truth that we are all just stardust. Cynthia had thoughts, big ones, on humanity, morality, and respecting the rare privilege of belonging to the world. She understood the consequences of human nature. She just never understood why people kept choosing them anyway. She stood in her kitchen, staring at the faucet. Every few seconds, a drop of water fell into the empty sink. Over time, the drips had combined just enough to create a tiny stream flowing toward the drain. Cynthia thought about how much movement she had created simply by doing a terrible job of turning the knob.
A careless act, and yet so much beauty occurs.
She whispered to herself before reaching up and turning the water off completely. The flow stopped. The pool of droplets sat still, unable to move forward. It felt like a metaphor for Cynthia's own circumstances. Her faucet had been cut off, and so had her food supply on account of her not going grocery shopping for 3 weeks. With a rare break from the quiet tragedy of her own inaction, Cynthia chose change. She grabbed her keys, took a breath, and embarked on a brave journey to the grocery store. Starting her Toyota Corolla, Cynthia's attention was immediately pulled toward the DJ's voice on the local radio station.
And in some feel-good news, Florida's black bear population continues to rise. Someone must have put some Marvin Gaye on in those woods because these bears are really humping.
She shuddered. Instinctively, her hand found the small canister of bear mace dangling from her keychain. Only then did she shift into drive. Cynthia cruised down the sun-bleached streets of Key West, her eyes scanning not just for pedestrians, but for any rogue signs of bear activity. It wasn't that she hated bears. She loved nature, believed in balance. She donated to bee sanctuaries. She let spiders live rent-free in her bathroom. But bears were where the peace ended. Her fear started early. Disney World. A hug too long. A costume that didn't blink.
Oh, bother.
Winnie the Pooh had stared into her soul, and she'd never forgotten it.
Say cheese.
Ever since, she'd lived in a quiet readiness for their inevitable rematch. But her speed and her emotional guard lowered as a creature on the road ahead caught her eye. Cynthia flipped on her hazard lights and gently brought the Corolla to a stop. The residential street was empty. The breeze smelled like sunscreen and salt. And in the middle of it all stood a small, white chicken. It hesitated, stepping toward the opposite lane, then back again, directly in front of Cynthia's car, unsure, vulnerable. So small against the indifference of modern infrastructure. Cynthia saw herself in the bird, frozen by decision, unsure of which direction led to growth and which led to doom.
I know that look.
She whispered.
I've lived that metaphor.
She felt instantly bonded to her new feathered friend, not because its dilemma mirrored her own inner spirals, but because, at long last, she had a front row seat to the living answer of an age-old riddle. Why did the chicken cross the road? Cynthia didn't know yet, but whatever the reason, she believed in it. Cynthia continued watching the chicken, each shift in its direction pulling her closer to the edge of her seat. Like life, it wasn't just about where the chicken was going. It was how it got there. Every subtle pivot, every neck twitch seemed to whisper, "This matters." And Cynthia felt it in her bones. The chicken wasn't just crossing the road. It was crossing into a new chapter of its life. But just as the hen began locking eyes with possibility, and Cynthia prepared to weep for the bird's newfound purpose, an aggressive sound shattered the moment. Both Cynthia and the chicken turned their heads, startled. Behind the parked Corolla sat a gray sedan, its driver wildly gesturing through the window.
Come on, let's go!
Her gut clenched. The chicken froze, and then slowly, it backed away toward the curb. Cynthia's hands fidgeted on the steering wheel. The guilt of inconveniencing someone, a sin worse than theft in her book, poured over her. Her mind raced. Should she get out and help? Pick the chicken up? Apologize to the car behind her for valuing emotional symbolism over traffic flow?
I'm sorry!
But before the spiral could complete, something shifted. A breeze cut through the air. The chicken paused, lifted its head, and turned back toward the opposite side of the road. With its breast to the sky, the bird took 2 bold steps forward. Cynthia gasped. She felt seen. Another step, and another. The moment was cinematic. Even the honking faded as Cynthia felt herself inching toward courage. The bird marched on, a fragile symbol of hope, steps away from something deeper. And then, an American in a hurry ruined everything. In a blink, Cynthia's embodiment of meaning and growth had vanished beneath a blur of tires and feathers. She didn't move. She couldn't. Her brain refused to believe what her eyes had already accepted. The gray sedan disappeared up the road, unbothered, and finally, the pieces fell into place. Cynthia grappled with the question that would remain unanswered, the small death that could have been avoided, and how her once powerful metaphor had now twisted into a bleak declaration that nothing really matters. Her anger and disappointment concentrated into a single tear. It fell, and with it, Cynthia slammed her foot onto the gas pedal. It didn't take long to find the gray sedan, idling at a nearby red light. She pulled up fast, sliding her Corolla directly in front of the other car, boxing it in. Then, with the grace of a woman both grieving and unhinged, Cynthia removed her keys, opened her door, and stepped into the street.
I'm gonna teach you a lesson!
Cynthia screamed, barreling towards the sedan's driver's side.
What the fuck?
The driver yelled, catching the door just as Cynthia began to wrench it open. The driver scrambled to lock it while Cynthia yanked the interior handle through the open window. The 2 women wrestled in a tug of war with modern engineering as a second person screamed from the passenger seat. Cynthia was losing ground. Her unfamiliarity with the door mechanics left her at a disadvantage. As the latch clicked and the window began to rise, she found herself at another crossroad. Would her story end here, cut short by an impatient stranger the same way her chickens had? Or would she become the change that she wished to see in the world and actually make it to the other side? Cynthia pulled her hands back from the glass and let them fall to her sides. Then, with quiet resolve, she raised her keychain and sprayed bear mace directly through the shrieking gap. The window sealed just after, trapping the screams inside.
It burns!
And as the car rocked in a haze of peppery justice, Cynthia turned. Like an action hero walking away from an explosion, she strolled back to her Corolla, keychain swinging from mace to ignition. In the end, Cynthia didn't run simulations. She just acted. Not wisely, but freely. Without a backward glance, she drove off, leaving behind the chaos and accelerating straight into her destiny. On July 9th, 2025, 38-year-old Florida woman Cynthia Sosa was arrested in Key West for attacking a fellow driver who ran over a chicken she had stopped to let cross the road. According to police, Sosa had patiently stopped her car to allow the bird's safe passage when another driver, Perla DeMiller, pulled up behind her, honking in frustration. DeMiller, en route to pick up her child from daycare, eventually swerved around Sosa's vehicle, and in doing so, ran over the chicken. Unwilling to let the poultry hit and run go unanswered, Sosa followed DeMiller's car, pulled in front of it, and forced it to stop. She then attempted to open DeMiller's car door, and during the confrontation, unleashed a can of bear mace, spraying both DeMiller and her passenger directly in the face. Cynthia wanted to teach her a lesson, the police report read. So she pulled out her bear mace and sprayed it into the vehicle, spraying Perla directly in the face while she was seated inside. The two victims, temporarily blinded, were unable to see which direction Sosa drove off in. But in a bold turn of events, Sosa voluntarily went to the Key West Police Department to explain her actions, telling officers she was, quote, angry that DeMiller had killed the chicken. Sosa was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery and 1 count of burglary with assault or battery. She's scheduled for arraignment on July 24th. At the time of writing the story, no official punishments have been determined. Well, that was quite a journey we all just took. Some might say we transcended and glimpsed a deeper truth. Others might say they just heard a story about a woman macing 2 strangers. No matter where you fall on the pseudo-intellectual spectrum, one thing's for certain. You heard a story. As for Cynthia Sosa, she's a curious and oddly relatable anti-hero. On one hand, I think a lot of animals deserve more sympathy than people, and I can get caught up in the poetry of a moment. But would I assault a fellow human over the careless killing of a chicken? I'd like to think I wouldn't. But as I said at the beginning, a senseless act can summon a senseless version of yourself. So I can't say for sure that I wouldn't, and I'd never want to live a life that avoids those kind of moments entirely. Because that's where life thrives, in the absurd, the unexpected, the bizarre intersections of impulse and feeling. So help the chicken in your mind cross the road, whether that road leads to better life, a calling, or just something weirdly beautiful. And if anyone gets in your way, maybe don't carry bear mace, but do carry conviction.
Wow. Now we all know kind of why the chicken crossed the road, but maybe didn't quite make it.
I'm not quite sure what its motive was, but spoiler alert, it didn't make it.
Oh, that's so sad. I love how you built that up, though. Like, each step the chicken took was like this dramatic moment forward, and then, oh, there it went.
I can really relate to finding deepness in dumb shit.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I did that to build up her character and make more of a story, but I also can relate to the fact that I hate impatient people on the road who don't give a shit about other people.
Yes.
It was an empty road. There's a picture of it online from Google Maps. It's just a residential street. Just drive slowly around and see what this person is looking at.
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong. Have there been times where I wanted to spray someone on the road with bear mace? Yes.
Yes.
100%. However, this is where it leads sometimes, you know? I get it. I get protecting the chicken. I get being pissed off and letting your emotions run wild, but damn.
Yeah, to follow through, like, it wasn't just a road rage incident. Like, they separated and then she caught back up to her to finish it back off. So that, it feels kind of premeditated a little bit.
I wonder why she decided to turn herself in.
I wonder that too. It's funny, in one of the original articles I read, they said they found her somewhere, but then later ones after they gave the victim's name, they admitted that she turned herself in. So I don't really know what the deal is with that. There hasn't been a whole lot of stuff on her at all, and there really isn't anything on the victim. But it's after July 24th that we're recording this, and there's nothing in the news. I'll see if I can find some like Florida research, because remember the Florida fact we learned that everything's out there.
Yes.
So there is a chance that maybe she just went in there and asked for more time, and then there's maybe a new date. So that's probably another reason.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could relate a ton to the main gal, but I get also why you can't just spray people with mace all the time.
Right. It's the wrong thing to do. That person didn't deserve it. However, I really hope that that person thinks about the time they were maced next time they want to honk and be a dickhole on the road.
No, straight up. Like, chill. The people who don't get over when there's like people on the side of the road, the people that speed around others, like, no, they do deserve to get maced, but maybe not really.
Yeah, like naturally by the universe, not from people. I'm not saying it's okay for a person to do it.
Yes.
But if a tree did it somehow, or you know, the wind just brushed a mace their direction or something, that would be okay.
Yeah.
There's a guy I saw on my way to work the other day. I thought I was going to get hit head on. I was leaving the city, and the other road next to it with, you know, the other lane going, 2 lanes, it was stopped, and some person just drove in the median in a big ass truck, just the big grass median, just drove in it and was kind of driving straight at me. And I'm like, I'm going to get hit head on because somebody just didn't want to sit in traffic.
Yeah.
And that's a person
that deserves
if something like that happens.
Natural macing.
Yeah.
So, Trevin, as I told you while you were telling your story, our connection is that it's all about how you react to crazy situations.
Yeah. Unexpected situations, terrible reactions.
Terrible. The worst reactions, people. Which, I mean, fits our show perfectly. So I love that for us.
And like I said, I didn't pick my story to match with yours. I only picked it because I would just love the idea of somebody teaching something like that a lesson. It was later that I focused on the reaction and all of that.
Yeah.
I did also want to say in the way that we wrote, I felt like you were very poetic with your innuendos and stuff, like affection, erection, and stuff like that. And there was a couple things you said where I think I said poetic to something you said. And I was overly poetic with this just because I had to stretch so much of her mind. So we were very poetic this week too.
We were. And bringing in the Coldplay lyrics is kind of a poetic thing too. I feel the poetry in this room today, Trevin, and I hope that others will as well.
It's been a deep little day.
Well, I hope everyone is just having the best week ever. And just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to piece of... Doomed to Pete it...
No. Doomed to what? What, Trevin?
Doomed to put a piece of grass in our ass.
That was worth it.
Thank
you for sticking that through. If you want to see us on our personal Jumbotron, head on over to Patreon. We have bonus content, movie nights, and ad-free episodes.
What's the wildest road rage incident you've heard of? Tell us on social media. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And do you have any good summertime dilemmas? Please send them to our email, livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same rating I would rate the Beach Town Lifestyle. 5 stars, I love the leisure. Rate our podcast wherever you rate podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods.
"50-year-old Andy Byron smiled an ornery grin. Prefer
you.
Did my hick just come out for everyone to see? Prefer turning around. Yeehaw.